You are welcome to LFN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly, real name Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as the R&B King. In order to successfully accuse R. Kelly of all the crimes the prosecution could think of, many of which did not even relate with any complaints that were raised by the said victims such as the RICO and Mann Act violations, the government made sure to work with propagandists and put out a narrative that R. Kelly operated a sort of illegal criminal enterprise and trafficked human beings across state lines in interstate commerce. When it came to trafficking charges, they wanted us to believe that the purpose of travel if any of the women flew from one state to another was for illicit reasons, and involving monetary gain, considering this as a prerequisite for trafficking to be justified. And so they made Robert carry the responsibility for all travels that were made by these women, as though to suggest he was the one moving these humans from state to state, and that the purpose of this movement was solely to engage in improper behavior for the purpose of monetary gain, which was never the case. We have published a number of video releases in the past months, making it clear to all that these travels from state to state if any were not necessarily R. Kelly's idea or arrangement. Instead, in most cases you will learn that if the women moved from one state to another, it was entirely their parents' idea and their own working, and that the women were delivered by their own mothers to meet with R. Kelly. Unless the government insinuates that R. Kelly was trafficking both mother and daughter at the same time, which is next to impossible. The truth of the matter is that these travels were not purposed for engagement in illicit activity, for their parents wouldn't have moved along. And there is no law that stops anyone who people badly want to meet from saying, if you want to meet, come find me where I am. In fact, these parents do back up R. Kelly's defense when they say they were traveling out with their children to meet with R. Kelly on business terms, as the young women were in the music industry and sought to work with R. Kelly. Manipulating this truth to place Mann Act violation charges on R. Kelly is just another display of unlawful tendencies by the government prosecutors, who have so far been caught in quite a number of legal errors that include one of them flirting with a primary witness in an exchange of text messages, and their illegal dealings with the Bureau of Prisons officers, among many other mistakes. R. Kelly was also unfairly charged for enticement and coercion, but looking at the fact that it was the parents driving their daughters to him says the exact opposite. Perhaps it was the parents enticing R. Kelly with their daughters and not the other way round. I am not sure that an enticed woman shows up with her own adult mother, unless it's the mother trying to interest her in whatever the subject matter is. When women are enticed, they run away from home solo. They are not delivered on a plane by their own parents like the Savages did, or on a long drive to arrive at 3 a.m. like Azriel Clary's mother did. It is therefore clear that the claims R. Kelly violated the Mann Act are all baseless and lack a foundation of truth. There is just nothing to show that R. Kelly is guilty of any of these charges, which are completely alien to his case. The good thing when it comes to lying is that lies cannot be maintained over a long period of time, and eventually one will say something different that contradicts what they previously lied about. This has been happening with the parents of these women, as in almost each interview they have taken they have given a completely different story. In this particular appearance, when Ian Sider hosted the Savages and Clary's father together, Joyceline's mother Joeline Savage got carried away and revealed she was the one that flew with her daughter to California to meet with R. Kelly. Take a look.
But the ones that he wanted to have a meeting with us, so with her. So I told her that she could only go if one of her parents went. So we chose that I would go. So we flew to California. The meeting was professionally set up by his...
It's such statements that the court should have interrogated to arrive at the truth of what truly happened. But because their target was always to give R. Kelly an indirect life sentence, they ignored all these signals. These people were out looking for R. Kelly and not the other way round. So really, how can this be regarded trafficking? Especially when we have such confessions on tape. She even says the meeting in California was professionally set up. Indeed, R. Kelly's interests were equally professional until these parents started giving their daughters ideas of how they could get him to be their man and consolidate the benefits to them alone, and asking that they take as many pictures and videos as possible in case they need to use them to blackmail him. What kind of parent does that? Just how does the government stand with such a set of perpetual liars of parents to put R. Kelly's life in a state of quagmire? In any case, this justifies our previous report that the government must have blackmailed these criminal parents into speaking ill of R. Kelly to enable a takedown of a lifetime. It must have been easy for the government to get these people on its team through blackmail, considering they were the ones delivering their own children across stateliness like cargo with the hope for monetary gain, which was never R. Kelly's intention. Joeceline's father claims her daughter was going to be signed by Sony, and for that they agreed she be taken to R. Kelly. It disturbs me to think a man his age did imagine this is how Sony signs artists. But then I remember that this is just a made-up story they were advised to give. When asked whether their daughters were still involved with R. Kelly, they were all positive. Meaning everything they were saying was nothing else but an act, revealing in the end that they had set up a hotline for anyone who wished to join them in bringing R. Kelly down to call. According to Design by Kiki, at the time of this interview, their daughters Joeline Savage and Azriel Clary had just appeared on TMZ at one of his concerts singing, laughing and enjoying themselves, and Joeline said she didn't want anything to do with her parents, not typical of someone who was being held against her will and being harassed like the government portrayed. What happened is they sent her away on a business trip and she simply didn't want to come back home. According to Janine Dimmer, it's funny how these parents made excuses for their actions all through the interview. Why were they delivering their children to R. Kelly to later complain about the result of their own actions? They literally enticed the R&B king and not the other way round. And besides, there is no way for them to prove that when these women were still 17 is when they started out getting intimate with Robert. R. Kelly should be set free. These parents are instead the real criminals who should be charged for negligence. If you wish to take part in a live interview discussing any of these topics, let us know by sending an email to sashalfnmedia@gmail.com for scheduling. Thank you for watching today's video, a production of LFN Media, giving you another perspective of issues at hand. We make it our business to keep you updated with the truth amidst the cloud of lies the media wants you to believe. It is therefore important to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon and allow all notifications so that you don't miss out whenever we publish a new video.